Hi, my name is Bridget, and I've been coming to FAC for about a year and a half now. I feel like I first realized that I needed Jesus when I was in college, and I just had a lot of troubling relationships where I felt just kind of like betrayed and alone. I saw my suffering as more of an excuse to live disobediently to God. Now I see the suffering as a total blessing because it has brought me the biggest gain and the biggest gift ever, which is Jesus.
I've known about Jesus my entire life. I was raised Catholic. I made all the Catholic sacraments. When I would pray to God, looking back, I feel like God was really just a word. I first decided to trust God as my Savior about 14 years ago when I first went into treatment for drug addiction. But it was only about 2 months ago when I was listening to an online sermon where it was just kind of like my eyes opened and I suddenly felt like a rush in my heart.
Before Christ was in my life, I saw nothing but darkness and I felt like I was running. In March, when my daughter came to me and said she wanted to get closer to God, I felt like that was his way of reaching back to me as well. Throughout all of my years of life, he's been with me, trying to bring me back to him, and he's always been right there. I totaled 3 cars and walked out of every single one of them unharmed. I don't think that's something that could happen if it wasn't for him.
My family was going through a really tough time, and I had been attending church for about 7 months before that with my friend. And during that time, I lost a lot of control in the situation, which I was not used to. I could definitely feel him calling me to give up more control of my life because that it was very hard for me. I would start to question, like, okay, maybe there is more to life than what I know.
I was always searching for some kind of spirituality. I always felt something, but I never knew what that was. I always avoided the idea of like Christianity. I never thought that I could be a Christian, you know. I was like, anything but that. I met a friend who I found out later in our friendship that he was a Christian, and I was like crushed. I was like, oh no, man, not a Christian. But he was a really cool guy, so I started to kind of ask him about his faith, and he invited me to Alpha at FAC. At that point, the Lord began to pursue me, and eventually the knocking became so persistent that I relented, and I had to accept that Jesus is Lord.
I've had a total character transformation in 14 years. I feel like I have a lot more patience with my children. I am trying to be a better man, be a better leader of my house, be a better husband for my wife, and I feel like our marriage has transformed in 2 months.
I think people around me have seen that I've been changed. I felt weight lifted off of my shoulders. I could see the light instead of darkness again.
I think the biggest transformation in my character was the joy I feel through all aspects of life. Once you realize that his plan for your life is the best plan, it takes so much stress out of your life. God's plan is better than anything I could have ever imagined.
Now, in my walk with Christ, I have a purpose. It didn't look like I thought it would look like, but knowing the truth, I mean, that's a security that I can't even articulate.
My spirit has just been totally changed. I don't feel like empty or dull or confused or unstable, chaotic anymore. All of those feelings are just gone. I've watched God just take my pain and be able to turn it into his glory, which is now all I live to do.
And I even put off getting baptized because I felt like I had to be better at being a Christian for whatever that means. And, I'd been doing that for 6 years. And I finally, just recently, realized that now's the time. I'm never going to stop growing.
God isn't interested in you being perfect, so don't wait to get baptized because Jesus was crucified, so we didn't have to be perfect. So don't wait, just do it now because his love is waiting for you and his arms are open.